Hey, team. Meeting will come to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the June the 15th, 2026 meeting of the Castle County Board of Commissioners. If you would join me in a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments.
We have two signed up. Sylvia Banks.
I am a senior citizen, and also I am a member of the North Carolina Senior Tar Heel State Legislature as a delegate from this county. One of my main responsibilities is to advocate for seniors. One of the main purposes of the Senior Center is to prevent isolation, such as social, physical, mental, and spiritual. The center ensures socialization and well-being. Many services, program, information sessions, and appropriate assistance services are provided, such as we have diabetes program. We also have the Easter egg hunt with children from Rainbow. We have a male choir. We have different churches that come in and provide different devotion services. We have law enforcement agencies that come in and share information with us. We also have EMAs that come in and do presentations. We also have a basket class. We have breast cancer information, free health screening for blood pressure. We also have tax aid. Also, we provide trips in North Carolina, in the United States, and out of the country. We have two walking trails. We have Meals on Wheels. We have exercises such as walking, yoga, dancing, and Zumba. We also have medical equipment that people can use. We have medical supplies such as diapers. These are just some of the services and resources that are provided for the seniors here in Castle County. We know that the center, as I said, ensures socialization and well-being. We have not been listed on the agenda, and we are unaware of the budget for this coming fiscal year. During the prior session, the question was asked about the budget for the center. The response, there is a budget. We need to know, we would like to know, and so in order for us to operate and provide the above mentioned resources and many more that we did not mention, even if the budget does not increase, please, please, we'll be happy if it remains as it is. Please, can you share with us what our budget is for the coming fiscal year? We sincerely thank you for listening to our concerns and all that you do. Thank you.
Next is Elin Clackett.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Claggett. I reside in Providence, North Carolina, and I'd like this recorded verbatim. In July of 2025, you employed Ken Bowman as the economic developer for $50,000. That's a rate of $125 an hour. Renewal of his contract for another $50,000 is on today's agenda. Since hired, he presented only 11 updates for economic development to this board as documented in your minutes. These included 7 updates about Cherokee Tobacco Processing Plant built by Quality Construction. The 10 updates on the Pelham Business Park plan focus on grading and accessing property adjoining the Cherokee site. He also recommended a name change to Caswell Commerce Park with $20,000 signage. 2, Yanceyville Industrial Park was mentioned twice, including 2 businesses on Fire Tower Road that are closed. 3, $50 million seed project was mentioned twice, but he offered no support for proposal requesting initial grading and access fencing as provided to the Cherokee site. 4, economic impact of solar farms, forestry, cattle ranching, agricultural lands were never mentioned. Neither management nor marketing strategies for small businesses that support the farmers market, Brightleaf Hoedown, and Co-Square have been presented. PCC was mentioned in regard to workforce development. However, PCC has already talked to the state representative at the North Carolina VP for Economic Development for North Carolina community colleges and their strategies for the workforce. 7, plans to expand infrastructure, sewer and water as required for industries were never mentioned other than the water tower in Pelham and a high volume usage for the data centers. How many economic development or infrastructure grants did he actually apply for this year? I haven't heard of any. Council's economic website lists Tony Smith as economic developer. The web designer is out of state, and 1 year later, the completion date is unknown. However, the county's website overhaul is processing nicely and progressing. Last meeting, he mentioned 4 buildings for sale in Yanceyville. From the courthouse steps, you can see the coffee shop and the bicycle store, and you can look across and see the mercantile, which is still open, but has cut their hours in half and is for sale. The other shops have closed. There's on Truella.com, it lists 2 lots greater than 140 acres and 6 lots between 30 and 70 acres for sale in Caswell. Economic development prospects in Anderson, Milton, Casville, Prospect Hill, Samora, Leesboro, and Hyco Lake have never been mentioned except for 1 RV park and acreage for sale south of Milton. The entire county, not just Pelham Industrial Park, are vital to Caswell's future. Why contract an elected individual from Pennsylvania County, Virginia, for economic development in Caswell County? As always, you have options for the best use of our taxpayer dollars. Thank you.
That's it.
So, moving on to recognitions, I'll start with you, Commissioner Claggett.
I have none.
All right, Commissioner Ingram,
No, sir.
Commissioner Rose,
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As America celebrates 250 years of freedom and opportunity, I am proud to be an American and grateful for all the blessings of this great nation. God bless America.
Commissioner Totten.
No.
Commissioner Holt. All right, tonight's consent agenda consists of the meeting agenda for this evening, our minutes from 5/21, 5/27, and 6/1, and the tax refunds and releases that you have in your agenda packet. Any corrections or additions to any of those minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion? We approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
A motion from Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second from Commissioner Claggett. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, consent agenda is approved. All right, our only presentation for tonight is concerning the Great Grant and Cab Grant from Mr. Bowen.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you so much for having me here for a few minutes. My name is Will Bowen. I'm Senior Manager of State Government Affairs for Spectrum. You may worked with a colleague of mine previously, but due to some restructuring, I'll now be your local government contact here for Spectrum. So I appreciate the time to introduce myself and talk a little bit about our work here in the state. Yeah, briefly covering here what we've done here in North Carolina. We have more than 2.9 million customers and 11,000 employees. In 2025 alone, we have expanded our network to reach an additional 206,000 homes and businesses, including 84,000 through this rural construction initiative. So we're very proud of our presence here and the work that we've done. But I know you're here to hear about Caswell County, so we can move over to talk about what we've done here. To date, we have activated 4,691 locations through 3 different grant programs here. We have our RDOF, our Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, which is 100% complete. Those are 2,106 locations with an additional 1,178 synergy locations. That's what we call, if we're building to the contracted areas that we have to go past or near, we can get pick up some additional locations there. Speaking specifically on GREAT, our Growing Rural Economies with Access to Technology program, that's also 100% complete with 822 locations. And we've also completed at 100% our Completing Access to Broadband or CAB grant. And that's 585 locations here in the county. So we were able to turn this around pretty quickly. We really appreciate the partnership. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if I can this evening. And if not, I'll be sure to get answers for you as quickly as I can. I look forward to working with you, and thank you again for the time tonight.
Any questions for Mr. Bowen? Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, discussion item number 8, Parks and Rec Committee bylaws. Ms. Williamson.
Commissioners, I bring the Park and Recreation Advisory Committee bylaws back before you for discussion based on questions that have been raised regarding membership on the committee, specifically whether members of Caswell County Recreational Development Foundation can serve on the advisory committee. And during recent discussions, there was concern that foundation members may not be eligible to serve on the committee, but after further discussion and review with Attorney Johnston, it was determined that there is nothing preventing members of the Recreational Development Foundation from being eligible to serve on the Park and Recreation Advisory Committee. The Board of Commissioners appoints the members of the committee and may consider foundation representatives through the same application and appointment process used for all other applicants. Because of these questions, we felt it would be beneficial to bring the matter back before the board for discussion and direction. One option would be to establish a representative from the RDF as an ex officio non-voting member of the committee. Another option would be to continue utilizing the county's standard application and appointment process for all committee members like you currently do. When the bylaws were originally developed, there was discussion about seeking representation from the different school districts and communities throughout the county so that the committee would reflect a broad range of perspectives and recreational needs. The board may wish to consider whether reserving a position for someone from the RDF as an ex officio member, or whether you would like for them to do like all other appointments and continue to go through the standard application process. So I'm seeking board's direction on how it would like to proceed. Once direction is provided, we will bring the item back before the board at the next meeting for the recommended bylaw revisions or any other changes for formal consideration and action. And where it falls in your bylaws is on Article 2 under membership at the very bottom where it says that members cannot be a part of the Caswell County RDF. Being a member of both would be a conflict of interest. We plan to strike and move that from the bylaws, and wanted to see how the board would want to proceed. Do you want to just go ahead and allow one of them to be an ex officio member with no voting rights, or just go through the application process like for other committees, and the board will decide? I know there's 5 seats that will be on that advisory committee with 2 alternates. And I'm just seeking direction from the board and how you would like to proceed with that. And would you continue to want to leave in that each member shall represent a school district, a different school district?
Questions? Bowen, comments? Now, the RDF is fundraising. Am I thinking about this correctly?
Yes, but I know there's some members on there that want to be a part of this committee. And after we went back with further discussion, Attorney Johnston advised that he did not see any reason why it would be a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think it's a good idea to have a member of the foundation on this board. because I think it would improve communications between the two boards. But I also think that we should seek members from outside of Yanceyville, say someone from Pelham, Prospect Hill, so we can get the outside communities involved in this program.
And that was, kind of what we had in there from the different school districts. So we would have, a variety of, different areas in the county that would be representing, but didn't know if the board wants to have them go through the same application process, or do you want to go ahead and make it where we'll just go ahead and let them pick who they would like and let them be an ex officio member, but they would not have any voting rights.
It's a pleasure to the board.
Now, with that, when you said they pick who they want, you meant for the one for the foundation?
Right. You could go ahead if if the board desires, you can go ahead and let there be a member from there, be an ex officio member. They would be a part of all the meetings and the discussion. They just would not have voting rights. And, or you can let them go through the same application process as for every other board, but just keep in mind, there's only 5 seats and 2 alternates.
I don't have a problem with them, having a representative they come up with to represent the foundation. I don't have a problem with that. But I do agree with Commissioner Smith and also you. We need representation throughout the whole county rather than just one localized area.
So is it the consensus of the board that we'll definitely strike out about, the RDF foundation that, is a conflict of interest? We'll strike that out. And do you want us to put in the language for them to have an ex officio member?
Can I get a motion to that effect?
Yes. Need a motion. What do you need in that motion, Madam Chair?
Well, for tonight, if you would give me direction on what's the pleasure of the board, I guess more at this point, a consensus, and then we can make the revisions to the bylaws and bring it back to the next meeting and formally,
Okay.
make the motion then.
Is it the general consensus of the board that RDF be granted a seat on the Parks and Rec board? Everybody good with that? I think you've got your general consensus.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, the Meals on Wheels America grant.
This item is being presented for informational purposes only tonight. Caswell Senior Services has submitted a grant application for 2627 Meals on Wheels America Meeting Unmet Need Acceleration Grant. And this is the first time we will have applied for this as opportunities become available. And the purpose of that of the grant is to help local Meals on Wheels providers expand services to additional seniors, maintain services for current clients, and strengthen the operational capacity to meet increased demands. This is a invitation-only grant opportunity offered through Meals on Wheels America. Nationwide, approximately $4 million will be awarded to about 40 organizations, with individual grant awards expected to range from $100,000 to $160,000. And there is no local match that is required for this grant. And funds would be distributed in a single installment if awarded, and all funds would be have to be expended by November the 30th, 2027. And the use of these funds, the Caswell Senior Services indicated that grant funds would primarily support kitchen infrastructure and equipment, meal delivery infrastructure, including insulated carriers and warming boxes, freezer and ice storage capacity, and limited staffing and operational support to improve meal service delivery. The goal is to strengthen and expand the meal delivery operations while ensuring safe, reliable, and efficient meal service for older adults throughout Caswell County. Currently, Caswell Senior Services provides nutrition service to approximately 186 seniors. And through this grant, the program estimates it could support approximately 25 existing clients and serve 30 new clients, and provide approximately 17,600 meals during the grant period. So like I said, this is for informational purposes tonight. Of course, if we are awarded the grant, we would bring that back before the board to accept the award and have a budget amendment to appropriate the funds.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
listen, do you think by Caswell County being a tier 1 county, that would give us any advantage?
I think so. And the fact that it said that it was by invitation only, and we did receive it, and it said probably 40 organizations would be granted funds. I think we have a very good chance of getting that.
Any other questions?
Madam Manager.
Yes, sir.
So what's the process? Have we already submitted?
We submitted the grant application because it was due today, by 5 o'clock. So we submitted the grant application, but of course, if the board, for whatever reason, decided that they were not inclined to accept it, we don't have to take it, because I will bring it back to the board to be accepted with a budget amendment to appropriate it. But it says that there is no local match.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam Manager, would you have an idea of how many actually meals that we actually provide now?
I just know that it says that the nutrition services currently is approximately 100. It serves approximately 186 seniors, but I'm not sure. And then it says that with that program that they would be able to do 17,600 meals during that grant period, but I'm not sure exactly how many meals they provide currently.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, moving on, item 10, Ken Bowman Economic Development Contract.
This item is before you for consideration regarding the continuation of county's economic development consulting agreement with Ken Bowman. The current agreement was originally approved in July 2025 and provides economic development consulting services on an as-needed basis to the county manager and board of commissioners. The agreement is billed at a rate of $125 per hour with a maximum of 400 hours and a maximum annual cost of $50,000. On March 15th, 2026, the board approved continuing the agreement through June 30th, 2026, and directed staff to return in June for reassessment. At that time, approximately 161 hours remain under the contract. The contract provides consulting support for economic development leads, projects, public relations, site development activities, and other economic development initiatives as requested by the county. The contract terms agreement compensates Mr. Bowman, like I said, at $125 per hour for consulting services. The contract allows for up to 400 hours of service and a maximum annual expenditure of $50,000. The agreement also contains an automatic month-to-month renewal provision unless terminated by the county. So I'm here requesting direction from the board. If the board desires to continue the contract under its current terms and conditions and reevaluate the arrangement in approximately 6 months like we have before. And this would provide continuity of economic development services while allowing the board an opportunity to further assess the county's long-term economic development goals.
All right, you each have a copy of Mr. Bowman's original contract as part of your agenda packet tonight. So, Madam Manager, you're asking whether or not we continue. Is that what you're asking?
Correct. 'Cause
Okay.
with us starting the new fiscal year
Right.
being July 1st, it has been budgeted for exactly the same as it was for this fiscal year.
Okay. Floor is open for discussion. Questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Blake.
with the anticipated housing coming to the county along with the increased traffic on North Carolina Highway 86, I think these funds could be better utilized for code enforcement, not support for an out-of-state data center that's expected to draw up to 7 million gallons of water a day from the Dan River, which is the current water source for Caswell County and an emergency source for the town of Yanceyville that is being experienced at present. Most anyone can read a for sale sign.
Right, any more comments, questions?
Um,
So,
I would, like to not, re-up the contract. I have not seen any production or what he's really done. He's very elegant with his speech and he's gone a lot of stuff, but I mean, he's been here for almost a year and I don't see anything hard that's happened.
any other comments, questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Smith?
I think Mr. Bowman has improved our economic development department in a number of different ways. He's had excellent ideas, but we didn't have the money to support his ideas. And hopefully we can find the money through a grant or what have you and act on those ideas. And I think it will benefit us down the road. Also, he's in the inner circle of the people in Pennsylvania County that are putting together this $200 million project. And here again, I see the market for Castle County as being the supporting companies that have to be around this data center to provide services. So I'd like to make a motion that we renew his contract for the coming year.
All right, I have a motion, excuse me, I have a motion from Commissioner Smith to renew Mr. Bowman's contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Ingram. Any discussion concerning the motion? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of renewing the contract with Ken Bowman as for economic developer under the same terms and conditions and compensation as he's previously currently working under, not previously, currently working under. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries 5-2. All right, moving on down onto action items. Item 11, the resolution to direct the expenditure of opioid funds. Ms. Williams.
This item is the opioid spending authorization resolution for fiscal year 2027 under the North Carolina Memorandum of Agreement governing opioid settlement funds. The Board of Commissioners must adopt a resolution identifying the specific opioid abatement strategies to be funded, the amount allocated to each strategy, and the period during which the funds may be expended. This resolution does not appropriate general fund dollars. All funding included in the resolution comes from the opioid settlement funds that have been received by Castle County and deposited into the county's opioid special revenue fund. On May 18th, 2026, the board received a presentation regarding recommended opioid abatement strategies for FY27. The strategies presented at that meeting have been incorporated into the spending authorization resolution before you tonight. Adoption of this resolution is required before opioid settlement funds can be expended on these programs during FY27, and we always bring this at the same time we get ready to adopt the budget. I'll briefly just go through those strategies from the presentation that was on May 18th. The addiction treatment for incarcerated persons, $85,000. The reentry program, $60,000. The syringe service program is $20,000. And the collaborative strategic planning is $12,000. And the medication for opioid use disorder, low barrier treatment, access to programs is $70,000. And the total amount authorized through this resolution is $247,000. And funding will be provided entirely through opioid settlement funds currently held in the county's opioid special revenue fund. No general fund dollars are being used for these strategies.
Questions for the manager concerning the opioid settlement?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Alyssa, how do these funds this year compared to last year? Are they the same or are they more?
We are a little bit more than we were last year, but very close in the same range.
Okay.
And we just had one additional program that's a little different this year, and we did put a little bit more into the incarcerated because I think there was some cost increase for the weekend nurse and night nurse to be able to provide those medications. So we put a increase there as well.
Okay, is Caswell County going to receive a fixed amount for a fixed number of years?
It varies. Of course, we're starting out at a higher rate right now, but this is the one I think is for like 18 years. And as it gets closer to the end of that time, the amounts that come in will be lower.
But we know each year what we'll get.
Yes, we know exactly pretty much how much we're going to get, and they always send us out every year, usually most time twice a year, giving us a Excel spreadsheet that shows us exactly and from which, drug company that's their amount that they've got to pay us.
Any other comments, questions?
Yes, and actually this money will always just be coming for opioid, and that's what this money is allocated for.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the opioid spending authorization resolution and authorize the implementation and expenditures of opioid settlement funds for the approved opioid abatement strategies for the period beginning July 1st, 2026 and ending June the 30th, 2027.
Have a motion from Commissioner Rose. Have a second.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Ingram. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, the NC Rural Health Transformation Mobile Integrated Healthcare Grant. That's a lot. Go ahead.
At your meeting on May 4th, John Yarbrough, the EMS director, came before the board requesting a letter of support for the Caswell County EMS to apply for funding through the Rural Health Transformation Program Mobile Integrated Health Grant. And the application was submitted prior to the May 20th deadline. And Caswell County EMS received preliminary notification of approval on June 1st, followed by the official award notification on June the 8th. And the Rural Health Transformation Program is a Center for Medicare administered program that is designed to modernize healthcare systems in rural areas. North Carolina was awarded over $213 million for this purpose, and Caswell County applied for funding through the North Carolina Office of EMS. And on June 8th, 2026, Caswell County received notification they were awarded $297,600 to sustain and expand community paramedic program for FY27. These funds will strengthen the behavioral health crisis response, improve treatment access for individuals experiencing substance abuse disorder, and reduce emergency department utilization. The grant is funded for 1 community paramedic and 2 community health workers that handle the resource gathering and documentation side of the patient care of the individuals in this program. All positions funded under this grant will be informed that their positions are based on funding from the grant being available. This funding does not require county funding in FY27, so there's no match for it. And they have the opportunity to apply for funding for each fiscal year from FY27 to FY31. So for 5 years, they can apply for this funding. And we're asking that you accept these funds tonight. And at the next meeting on July the 6th, we will bring forth the budget amendment.
You've heard the manager's presentation. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Madam Manager, you said it would fund how many positions?
It will fund a community paramedic and 2 community health workers. And those 2 health workers will handle the resource gathering and documentation side of the patient care of individuals in the program. And the county does have a standard form for any grant-funded positions that we have all employees sign, knowing that it's contingent, the job is contingent as long as grant funds are available.
Where would these health workers be stationed within the county?
They, well, I know the two additional workers will be housed in over where the community paramedic is, in the office that's over here on Main Street.
Okay, so we have one now. This will allow us funding for another one for at least 1 year.
Yeah, the community paramedic and these two healthcare provider positions. So it's three in all, and the funding for FY '27, all of '27, and then we will reapply again. This grant opportunity will be for 5 years, but each year you must apply.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We will still just have one community paramedic, am I correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
We'll have one permanent, I guess, and then, now the one we got now, that one's not a grant funded position.
It is.
It's
It's part of this. It's part of this grant. So your community paramedic and then the two community health workers, they will help the community paramedic and they will help gather resources and documentation side of the patient care for the program.
You had me a little lost for a minute. I thought it was a separate one. So
No,
basically,
it
this
is.
is continuously funding
Yes.
the one we currently have.
Exactly, because at one point, we were not sure that we were going to have funding past December for the community paramedic, but fortunately, this grant opportunity came along and the EMS director, John Yarbrough, applied for it. So it secured the funding for, the whole fiscal year for the community paramedic, along with these two other positions.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Do I have a motion? We approve acceptance of the grant?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the acceptance of the North Carolina Rural Health Transformation Mobile Integration Healthcare Grant in the amount of $297,600 for sustaining and expanding the Castle County Community Paramedic Program.
I have a motion from Commissioner Totten,
Second.
second from Commissioner Claggett. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right, item 13, the consulting agreement with Jonna Sharp LLC for year 25 audit completion, bank reconciliation training, and fiscal year 26 audit SKE services.
This item is for consideration of a consulting agreement with Jonna Sharp LLC to assist Caswell County with completion of the FY '25 audit, provide training related to the Central Depository Bank reconciliation process, and to serve as the county's required skills, knowledge, and experience, also referred to as SKE, reviewer for the FY '26 audit. As many of you know, Jonna Sharp has assisted Caswell County with the completion of the FY '21 through FY '24 audits and provided assistance with the development of the FY '27 budget. Her services have previously been provided through the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. However, this arrangement will end on June 30th of this month. The county still has outstanding FY '25 audit work that must be completed and must begin preparing for the FY '26 audit process. In addition, the county is required to have an individual with the appropriate skills, knowledge, and experience, commonly referred to as a SKE, review and sign off on the annual financial statements. Currently, no county employee possesses the qualifications necessary to serve in that role. The proposed agreement includes three primary areas of work. First, the completion of the FY '25 audit, including outstanding audit entries and other year-end audit requirements. Second, training county staff on the Central Depository Bank reconciliation process. This reconciliation is critical to the accuracy of the county's financial records and future audits, and staff have not previously performed this reconciliation independently. Third, serve as the county SKE reviewer for the '26 audit. This includes reviewing financial statements, evaluating disclosures, and assisting with management discussion and analysis, and providing technical accounting guidance and performing the final review and sign-off required before issuance of the audit. The total contract amount is $40,000. The agreement consists of $25,000 for FY '25 audit completion and central depository bank reconciliation training and $15,000 for the FY '26 audit ski services. And the contract will be funded using FY '26 vacancy savings, and the funds will be encumbered prior to June 30th, 2026. And just keep in mind that the completion of the FY '25 audit remains one of the county's highest priorities. And we are required to have a ski, so we're in the process right now of being right here at the end where it's time to start doing the financial statements. Since we just found out that the contract with the NCACC ends June the 30th, we didn't anticipate that, and neither did Ms. Sharp. We thought we, still had a ski to finish out '25. But now we just have found out that as of June 30th, they're no longer going to be paying for her to be here in Caswell. And so therefore, we definitely will have to have a ski to finish FY '25. And I'm afraid if we don't go ahead and secure Ms. Sharp as our ski, that it may be where it could hold the FY '25 audit up, longer, because we would have to find a ski. And I did give each one of you a handout at the beginning of the meeting, because one of the commissioners had asked exactly what that training would entail for the bank reconciliation. So, and what the money would pay for. So if you want to take opportunity to look over that. And she does anticipate between 40 and 60 hours of the training that she would work with the staff on bank reconciliation.
Questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
let's, have we talked to the auditors lately to see what their schedule is as far as coming into Caswell once we do get the numbers right?
I'm sorry,
Do we have anything set up with our auditors?
not at this
Need to come
time,
in?
because I know we were still, and Melissa, you can correct me, but I know we were still submitting some things to them. So we're not quite there for them to be able to.
We have like 50 items, and a lot of them are grouped together, like fixed assets and stuff that we need to get to them. And then we're gonna be done with our part and waiting on them. We're hoping sometime in July, but they're not confident. They're never gonna give us a date. So,
Okay.
say,
Is Jonah involved in getting those 50 items completed, or is that staff? Not only us there.
spent over 100 hours doing our budget. So the audit got put on hold to get the budget done. So I'm still helping her and assisting with what I can do with the audit. But yes, she's still heavily involved with it as of right now until June 30th. We don't get it done, and this contract isn't renewed. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Will we be in a position where we'll have qualified staff to take care of what she's doing next year? Are we going to be calling on the NCACC again to provide somebody?
I don't know that our staff is qualified to do everything for the 26 audit that Jonna does. Just being honest.
Next question, then after her training that she provides, will we be able to be at the point then? So,
Of the general account, our largest account, that is the biggest part that we need training in. Because it was so far behind, and she has always been, let's get it done, and hasn't had the time to train the process, because we can't even start the audit, really do it. We can't establish a trial balance without the reconciliation of all of them.
Okay, our original contract, we thought there'd be enough money to take us through getting this audit certified, correct? But
Too. Until last week, when she was notified from the NCACC that they would only pay her up to June 30th, whether she was done or not.
okay, so basically she's just a subcontractor.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Madam Manager, I'm reading over this email. And it basically states, I guess, on the back page, who will receive this training, and it gives in detail about it. Could that be something added to this contract as far as the training that the finance officer would be trained in each step that needs to be taken place in this bank reconciliation? Because we've got to get somebody, we've got to get to a point where we can stand on our own 2 feet. That's just how I feel about it. Because if you don't, we're going to have to continue to go down this road year after year after year. So if the board does approve this contract, I would like to see something in that contract that the finance officer will be trained while she is doing all this in every aspect of that process.
Any other questions? This SKE, SKE. By next year at this time, will our finance people be considered having the skills, knowledge, and experience?
That is something that I know on our end, we're going to have to look into more to see what makes you a qualified ski.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, what all that entails to qualify. So that's more, I know on our end, we will need to research on. And I know I can have Mr. Horton, reach out to see to the auditors and see. And then that way we would know how to budget in FY '28 if we still do not have, what they consider a qualified ski, then we would know that we would need to budget for.
Is that who is requiring the qualified ski?
Auditors,
Auditors.
yes, yes.
Okay.
If you do not have a qualified ski, they will just stop with your audits because you have to have a ski to do your financial statements.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Well, how did they do it before the issue came up about the back audits? So prior to the back audits getting done, when everything was getting done like it should be, I can't remember us ever having that.
I don't know if it depends, like if things have changed, the requirements that the state has. But I know that she has operated as our ski since 2023. And then she was able to get all those back audits, caught up to help get caught up. And she was the ski for all of those. Now, when you go prior to FY '21, I don't know how that worked.
I'm just wondering if that was something due to the fact that audits had gotten behind.
No, other counties are required to have them as well, to have a qualified ski.
What are the qualifications to become one?
Do you know the qualifications?
That's why I kind of shook my head. I only have 5 years and this is his first year. I don't think and I've been in finance the longest right now. I don't think the auditors would qualify 5 years as experience. As they go through those financial statements with a fine tooth comb, and have to be able to verify everything that they put in those financial statements.
You don't just get to deem yourself one, do you?
No.
No.
That's what, that was my
No,
question.
That's what I would say, that we would have to check with our auditors, and I'm sure it depends on the auditor that you use as well as to what their expectation of an experienced ski is before they will do your audits.
That's something I'd like to know is what they're expecting as
Okay.
far as who can be a ski, which is an unusual term to me, but I understand what I mean, I see what it stands for, skills, knowledge, and experience, but to me, that's a little bit subjective. You know, someone with 10 years experience might not do as good a job as somebody with 6 months experience in reality,
Mhm.
you know, but they're the ones that call the shots on it, I guess. We'll have to see what they say.
I guess my question is there a certification?
Yeah. You would think there would be some hurdle they would have to be able to overcome to be considered a ski, and I don't know.
I'm sure, the auditors could tell us, specifically the direction, and I would almost think it would probably depend on whoever your auditor is, what they require as their ski. Because I know they are responsible for going through the financial statements and, information.
Right, any other questions, comments?
Melissa, do you think that the NCACC would have staff to be able to help us in, not this year, but next year, or the end of this year, on the 26 audit, to provide the ski?
I can reach out. I'm not sure how many, positions that were affected through, because I know a lot of these positions were there because of ARPA funding. And a lot of their ARPA dollars are not there anymore. So I know they just said that they had to make cuts. So I'm not sure. That would be something I would have to reach out to find out.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
like I said, I know this is in the email that everybody received about, the finance officer being trained. I was just wondering if that could be something put into the contract.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Rose.
Also, did you look over the rest of the contract?
Yes, sir, Commissioner Rose. Interim Manager Williamson and I discussed the consulting agreement at length and reviewed the agreement. And the term goes until December 31st of this year. And for the more important aspects of this agreement from a legal perspective involve the paragraph 7, which covers insurance, and this requires Ms. Sharp to have a $2 million general liability coverage and workers' compensation insurance policy. And item number 12 also addresses conflicts of interest in which Ms. Sharp will be held to stringent standards. And Commissioner Rose, to answer your question about the finance officer training, certainly all these items could be incorporated into the consulting agreement. And if the board so chooses, and I believe Ms. Sharp would entertain those modifications as well, based upon her email response.
Anything else? Do we need to wait until you make those changes to approve, or can we move forward?
Well, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I think we are up against a deadline. Is that correct, Interim Manager?
I just know after June 30th, we won't meet again until July the 6th. So I just know you would have that gap of time there, and that's when we're trying to kind of close out and.
Mr. Chairman, it is possible in the motion, again, in the board's discretion, if the board wanted to incorporate all the terms from Ms. Sharp's email, then the board in their motion could pass the consulting agreement and also adding the terms of Ms. Sharp's email.
Okay. All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
And Mr. Chairman, if I could clarify, the motion could be made and then If the board approves, then I could incorporate all the documentation into the consulting agreement for signature.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I just see we have little or no choice, no options here to where we can't stall the process of getting our 25 audits completed so we can get off the UAL list so we can finance whatever we need to run our operation like we're supposed to. So I move to approve the consulting agreement with John Sharp LLC for the FY 25 audit completion, FY 26 Central Depository Bank requisition training, and the FY 26 audit ski services in the total amount of $40,000, and authorize the interim county manager to execute the agreement subject to the pre-audit certification and final legal review as needed.
Have a motion from Commissioner Smith. Have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Ingram. Now, any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just for
Yes, sir.
clarification, so that motion does not include Ms. Sharp's items listed in her email.
Need a motion to amend?
You can make one.
I'll make a motion to amend Mr. Commissioner Smith's motion to also add to his motion that the email from June 15, 2026 be incorporated into the contract.
I have a motion to amend the original motion from Commissioner Rose to include the email that you each have in front of you. I have a second.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Smith on the amendment. Any discussion? All those in favor of amending the motion?
Oh, amendment, go ahead.
All those in favor of amending the motion, please let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed? Amendment carries. Now, the amended motion is before the board. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I kind of feel like Mr. Commissioner Smith does. It's, feel somewhat that our hands are tied. I wish I had known this back during budget time, but unfortunately I didn't.
We were not aware either. We just
Right.
found this out.
Um,
The NCACC, after June 30th, we're no longer, gonna,
right. I just would like to see some questions answered, and I think the manager should be able to get to the bottom of it, of these requirements for this skill, knowledge, and experience-based stuff. Because we just can't keep going on this road, in my opinion. Thank you.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion as amended, please let me know by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. You got that amendment and all squared away, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right, thank you.
It required a 2/3 vote. Great job.
Gotcha. All right, item 14, budget amendment number 21 for Parks and Rec. Ms. Horton.
Evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Before you have agenda item 14, which is a budget amendment number 21 for Parks and Rec. This amendment reflects Parks and Rec receiving a grant from Duke Energy to purchase/repair new bleachers around the ball fields. This was a one-time grant for $10,000 with no county match. This grant was already approved and funds received in the general fund, but the budget needs to be amended so that Parks and Recs can therefore utilize those funds.
Y'all have heard the finance officer. Any questions? It's a pleasure to the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
move to approve budget amendment number 21, Parks and Rec
I
Department.
have a motion from Commissioner Rose to approve budget amendment number 21. I have a second.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Ingram. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
These funds are sorely needed because the bleachers at the Parks and Rec were really getting in bad shape and they were not safe.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, budget amendment number 22, year-end adjustments. Ms. Miller.
Good evening, Commissioners. I have budget amendment number 22. It's our year-end adjustment. This amendment isn't asking for any new money. It is just appropriating revenues that we have already received. Part of the year-end closing procedures is to project final balances for all the departments and funds. The projection identified several funds that are expected to have expenditures in excess of their original budget due to receipts of additional revenues that weren't budgeted. Some funds require all funds that are received to be distributed, so it is necessary we adjust the budgets in accordance with the state statutes. We must do this before year end or it will be an audit finding on the 26th audit. I would be happy to go over each one individually or just answer any questions on the individual funds if you have them.
Any questions concerning this cleanup of the books, so to speak, I guess? Ms. Miller, did you say that most of these or all of these had to do with grant receipts that had to be?
Not necessarily grants. Whenever we created the 26 budget, it's common to underestimate the amount of revenues that we're going to receive, which is kind of safe to do. And we just received more, but we need it appropriated to justify that we have expended it.
Okay, I got you. Any questions? I have a motion.
I move to approve budget amendment number 22.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ingram to approve budget amendment number 22. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Claggett. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Horton, you're back up with budget amendment number 23 on sheriff vehicles.
Yes, so Amendment 23 covers the purchase of 6 sheriff vehicles. The board has already approved it with upfit at a total cost of $351,000. Most of that, $223,000, was already in the vehicle line. So this amendment moves the remaining $127,000 from the sheriff's office salary line savings into the vehicle line to cover the full purchase. It's a net zero to general fund with no new appropriations or use of fund balance.
All right, questions, comments? This is the same 6 vehicles that we were talking about last week at the budget session, correct?
You are correct, Chairman.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
do we know what we're going to do with the 6 vehicles that we're replacing? Will they be auctioned off or do you know?
I apologize, Commissioner. I do not recall.
We usually just apply the money to the remaining leases that we have to pay them off sooner or lower the monthly payments.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve budget amendment number 23, sheriff's vehicles?
I move to approve budget amendment 23, sheriff's office
I
vehicle.
have a motion from Commissioner Ingram. Second from Commissioner Totten. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, budget amendment number 24, ambulance remount. Mr. Horton.
Yes. Amendment 24 funds the ambulance remount for emergency medical services at $275,000, which also was board approved. It is paid for entirely from savings this year. $200,000 of it is in debt services and $75,000 in contingency. Like the prior item. It's a net zero to general fund and has no new appropriations and no use of fund balance.
All right. Any questions or discussion? We have a motion to approve budget amendment number 24.
Chairman, I move to approve budget amendment 24, ambulance remount.
A motion from Commissioner Rose.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right, Mr. Horton, budget amendment 25, full and part-time employee bonuses.
Yes, Amendment 25 provides a one-time bonus for full-time and part-time county employees along with the related fringe and retirement. The total amount across all funds is $319,512. The general fund's share of that is $198,357. A smaller portion, $4,910, is transferred to family services, is covered by reallocating money already in the current budget, mostly from contingency, salary savings, maintenance, and insurance. The other funds absorb their share within their existing budgets. This is a net zero to the general fund and also uses no fund balance.
Questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Horton, this did also, I guess, included that the part-time had to work a minimum of 500 hours, and that 500 hours had to been met by June the 30th to be eligible, correct?
You're correct. We definitely went in and queried the system and isolated those specific staff members.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? You have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I moved to approve budget amendment number 25.
I have a motion from Commissioner Claggett to approve budget amendment number 25. Have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Rose. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Mr. Horton, budget amendment number 26, the NC Department of Justice grant refund.
Yes, Amendment 26 is a housekeeping item. We have $2,055 of unspent Department of Justice grant funds that must be returned to the state. This amendment appropriates that amount from fund balance and budget it into the sheriff's grant line so that we can remit the payment back to the state. This is unspent grant proceeds we are already holding, so there's no impact to the county operations. To give you some context, it was a grant that was a little over $84,000. Heavily restricted funds, so it's difficult to spend $2,000 when the funds are so restrictive and.
Any questions? When was this grant received originally?
It was, I know it was in fiscal year 23.
Oh, okay.
But Chairman, I'll admit, I do not recall the.
Well, that's fine. There's been a few years back then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? We have a motion to approve budget amendment number 26.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve budget amendment 26, North Carolina Department of Justice grant refund.
A motion from Commissioner Rose. Have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Okay, budget amendment 27, Family Services Fund Deficit Elimination. Mr. Horton.
Yes, so I'm going to start off by explaining exactly what amendment number 27 does. And what amendment 27 does is it appropriates up to $210,000 of general fund balance and transfers it to the Family Services Fund to eliminate an accumulating deficit that has built up since 2023 through through fiscal year FY 25. This transfer would restore their fund balance to zero. It does not give the department any new spending authority or additional funds for any kind of spend whatsoever. So to transition, I want to just kind of briefly touch on how we got here. And Family Services runs entirely on reimbursement and grants. So with these grants, the department has to spend these funds first before they can go to the sponsor for reimbursement. Beginning in FY 23, under prior leadership, the department's grant reporting got disconnected from the county's finance books or system. And the deficit built over those 3 years. The main causes were reimbursements that were never claimed or collected, expenses charged to the wrong grant and various object codes, and salaries split across different grants and percentages that did not actually match the work or the effort. Each year, it was held off expecting delay reimbursements to close the gaps, and in reality that didn't happen. So where we are now is we have spent several months working through each fiscal year, working with the sponsors and really going through the financials to identify erroneous coding and correct that. The work is substantially complete and will be finalized with the FY 25 audit. We've also put into place some fiscal controls to keep that from not happening again. Some spending restrictions are in place, and spending for that department is going to be routed through finance. We are also going to reconcile monthly. Finance in that department is going to reconcile monthly to ensure that the expenses align with reimbursement submissions to the sponsor, and ensure that staffing allocation aligns with the grant application, and just certified each year that those salary allocations are accurate. And for going forward for FY 25, because we eliminated one of the grant funded positions, this sets up Family Services in a position to be successful or able, with the ability to come in at zero fund balance, if not a slight surplus. So the amount, the amount is written to not exceed 210,000. The reconciled deficit through 2025 was about 208,000. So we have a few revenue accruals left to finalize that may bring that number down, but we'll true it up. We'll true up that figure up, to the audited amount when FY 25 audit comes to close. And anything that we don't use naturally will go back into the fund balance, any unused funds. So bringing this forward to let Family Services, or to try to get Family Services to start off FY 27 with a clean clean balance, no deficit balance in their fund.
And remember, we did eliminate a position in that department as well, so that should also assist with them staying within budget for 27. And for 26, it seems like they're within budget as well.
Questions, comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
so, Mr. Horton, with family services, is it more, the finances that deal with family services will be coming through, the finance department?
Well, finance and and family services will be way more partnered than in the past. Yes, some of the expenditures, finance will just through the workflow process will be aware, but the nuance of this is the constant communication between finance and family services will be established. There will be, again, monthly reconciliations between the two groups to ensure that we get them going on the right path.
And one more question, since you've been on board, do you find all departments is there a centralized economic process when it comes to all departments in Castle County? Or does that make sense?
I'm understanding you correctly. Yeah, expenses as it relates to different departments generating expenses. Yes, they ultimately do flow through finance through the workflow system within Munis.
So are you finding a uniformity among all departments when it comes to dealing with finance?
There are some departments are different from others, but yeah, it's uniform in the sense that, this is really, from what I've seen so far, a one-off. So in short, I would say, yes, there's some uniformity.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I guess, Keith, the main thing here is to make sure we've got staff and training to where we don't miss any grant opportunities or we code properly and so forth. But best my recollection, we had a lot of turnover in that department. We had a couple directors leave us, and I think it's got a lot to do with it.
I would agree with the commissioner, and that director has expressed to me personally that she is researching and entertaining possible grants for the future.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Keith, you did say that parameters have been put in place through family services that they've got to come to finance before they spend any money.
Yes, they finance they are definitely on finance's radar on a consistent basis for sure. And yes, I communicate with that director on a consistent basis for sure. But yes, finance and the finance team definitely are definitely aware when family services are trying to process financials from their end.
Because I don't think there's any additional savings from the 26 to cover this, is it?
Unknown at the time or right now, but I can follow up with you on that after after I take a second look at the financials.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Mr. Horton, this is, from what I've gathered from what you've said, from 23 through 25, this was more or less some grant opportunities that weren't followed through on. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah, so the grants were in place. I would say, as far as getting the revenue side of it, again, there's that nuance where the department has to spend funds, show that they've spent them, and then ask for a reimbursement. That was a part of some of the breakdown. For example, expenses would be incurred, but then not formally engaging in the reimbursement process.
Okay.
And Commissioner Smith, if you'll recall, when you were acting as the manager at that time, and I went in to try to help look for some of their revenues, they were already, from prior staff, they were already a year behind on some of the reimbursements. And we were trying to get as much caught up as we could.
Yep.
And for the upcoming budget, I believe I heard you say they will be completely grant funded, no county funds.
Except for the one grant that requires the in-kind match.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Those are all the questions I had. Any other questions, comments? What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I may, I was looking at the board's rules of procedure and Rule 27 states the consideration of unbudgeted expenditures. No votes on expenditures for off-budget spending in excess of $10,000 shall be held unless tabled from a prior meeting. Mr. Horton, were these funds off-budgeted or were they a part of the general fund?
No, they were not off budgeted.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely a part of the general, well, it's their own fund, Fund 260. But yeah, there was a funding component from the general fund. If I'm understanding your question correctly.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make that clarification.
So give me a little guidance as to, can we take action on this or not tonight?
Well, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, to err on the side of caution, if you wanted to move forward, just to be safe, you could suspend the rules and move forward with approval if there's a question as to the budget.
That way it would be good. However it would.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
This, we won't meet again in this fiscal year, so if at all possible, we need to take action on this tonight at our meeting. So, gentlemen, if we want to approve this, to err on the side of caution, we'll need a motion to suspend. What rule is it?
Rule number 27.
Rule number 27. Can we do one motion, move to suspend the rule and pass the amendment, or two separate motions?
I would advise two separate
Okay.
motions. Yeah.
All right. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move that we suspend Rule 27.
All right, have a motion from Commissioner Smith that we suspend Rule 27 for tonight. Have a second. Second from Commissioner Ingram. All those in favor of the motion of suspending Rule 27 during tonight's meeting, please let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Motion carries. Rule 27 is suspended. Now, do I have a motion concerning the Family Services Fund deficit elimination?
I move to approve budget amendment number 26, family services accumulated deficit elimination.
27. And I was just looking at the agenda budget of 27.
It's 27.
It's 27.
27.
We have a motion from Commissioner Smith to approve budget amendment number 27. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Totten. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Horton. Ms. Shaw, write off of various receivables this fiscal year.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is an item that I've spoken to you previously regarding two revolving loan funds that have been deemed uncollectible. These funds were for Ambrosi Biscotti and NORAG Technology. They were entered into during the pandemic through some grant funds. The NORAG Technology grant, the principal amount was repaid in full. There were questions around accumulated interest, and that's what has not been paid. On the Ambrosi Biscotti, they actually went out of business. They made a few payments and then informed the county they would not be able to continue. Both these loans have been lingering for some time, and the auditors continue to note that we need to take action, that you need to take action on them. So it's recommended to write those receivables off for both Ambrosi Biscotti and NORAG Technology. And there is also another set of receivables that you need to officially write off the books that have already been fully reserved uh, as an allowance for doubtful accounts. And these are funds on the EMS system that were prior to June 30th, 17. They still remain on the books as a asset and then are fully reserved in the allowance for doubtful accounts. So it is recommended in order to really kind of clean up the general ledger that we go ahead and officially write these off the books as well. And they have no financial impact because they've already been basically reserved for 100%. And then on the Ambrosi, Biscotti, and NORAG loan, those will not have any impact on the general fund. And I believe once these are written off, there are still unspent funds available that once we have the final accounting through the 25 audit, we would bring those funds could be brought to the board for you to determine how you want to handle those funds. And we've requested that the action be writing these off as of June 30th, 2025, because given that we haven't finished the audit yet, if you take that action to retroactively, we can make these final entries in the June 25 audit, and it will be finally resolved.
Any questions for Ms. Sharp? It's a pleasure, board. Chair's
I have a
authorized.
question. I have a question,
ahead,
Mr.
go ahead.
Chair. I'm sorry. This from NORAG, Ms. Sharp, was this actually a grant?
The county received grant funds from USDA, and then they, rather than a grant, did a loan to NORAG. So they provided NORAG $125,000 that NORAG was to then repay. I don't know why at the time the county didn't do it as a grant. And they could have.
That's my question.
Right.
A grant was given through the USDA.
Right.
And for some reason, the board back then decided to put a loan out.
To do it as a loan rather than a grant, which they could have chosen to do at the time.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
You have a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that the write-off of various receivables at June 30, 2025. Is that correct?
Yes, and if you could just mention the receivables and the NORAG and the Biscotti loan for the minutes.
The receivables of NORAG and
Ambrosi, Biscotti, and
Ambrosi, Biscotti,
and then EMS receivables.
and EMS receivables.
All right, you have a motion from Commissioner Totten. You have a second.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Ingram. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Sharp.
Thank you.
All right, adoption of the 2027 budget ordinance. Mr. Horton, you're back up.
Mr. Chairman, member of the boards, agenda item 22 is the adoption of the fiscal year 2027 budget. Before you are 7 items, the general fund ordinance, special revenue fund ordinance, enterprise fund ordinance, the custodial fund ordinance, FY27 fee schedule, pay and classification ordinance, along with a summary of changes from the recommended budget to the adopted budget. The budget reflects the board's guidance from the recommended budget presentation in May and the public hearing in June and work sessions. So the three points I want to make upfront is first, the budget maintains the property tax rate at 62.7 cents per $100 of valuation. So that means that there's no tax rate increase. Second, the general fund does not use appropriated fund balance for recurring expenditures. Third, there is no general compensation adjustment included for the county employees, sheriff, or the register of deeds. So from recommended to adopted, between the recommended budget and the budget before you, the board approved two changes, and finance incorporated technical corrections to accurately reflect budget revenues and expenditures. The net effect is a reduction of $19,000 on both the revenue and expenditure side of the general fund. So the general fund remains balanced. All changes were in the general fund, and the other ordinances were not impacted. Just recap the board changes. The first board change adds $15,706 for the veteran service contract with Alamance County. The second is a $50,000 reduction in debt services for an ambulance remount. The board directed that the remount be purchased in FY26 instead of financed in FY27, which removes that debt service from the 27 budget. The technical corrections finance made on the expenditure side, the technical corrections net to a $15,294 increase. The two largest individual corrections are a $110,000 increase in planning, where a central permitting position was excluded or was eliminated twice in the recommended budget. So we had to restore that. And $73,231 increase in the detention center to correct a retirement contribution amount. Those were largely offset by a reduction in central services for the final NCACC insurance premium quote, and a reduction in emergency management from a reorganization. The other corrections are smaller adjustments, and all listed in your packet. On the revenue side of the technical corrections, that netted to a $19,000 reduction. 16 of that was removed due to a non-occurring veterans assistant grant that inadvertently made it or was included in the recommended budget, and a $3,000 adjustment to ABC revenue to align with FY26 collections. So jump to the budget structure. The total FY27 budget across all funds is $40,842,000. The general fund highlights, with the general fund and sub-funds, the largest appropriations are public safety at 10.7 million, general government at 5.4 million, debt services at 1.5 million, and transfers that move general fund revenue to operating sub-funds, which totaled 2.3 million, including the transfers to operating funds. Public schools, current expense is a little over 3 million, with capital outlay of 400,000, and the school capital reserve received a 255,000 transfer for school capital outlay funded by Article 42 tax sales. Special revenue funds total 3.8 million. The largest are the fire tax districts at 1.3 million, Section 8 at 1.1 million, and family services fund at 160,000. The opioid settlement fund is appropriated at 247 for treatment of incarcerated persons consistent with the board's spending resolution. The enterprise and custodial funds, solid waste is budgeted at 2.1 million with the resident household fee at $147. CATS is budgeted at 1 million, a little over $1 million. The custodial fund, which passes through the municipality, the municipal property tax collections, and the inmate trust, both total 705,000. The last ordinance, pay and classification ordinance, establishes 270 authorized full-time equivalent positions across all funds and adopts the salary schedule and position classifications. The ordinance also eliminates the hiring rate, which was a separate entry point below the grade minimum. So new hires now come in at the grade minimum or above. Open for any questions.
Questions for the finance director?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think we cut PCC by 10%. You said,
That's correct.
was that expenses or capital or a combination of the two?
It was a combination of the two, but mostly from their capital.
Any other questions? Comments? Tax rate stays the same.
Correct, sir. Chairman.
No other comments, questions? Chair will entertain a motion concerning this year's budget, upcoming year's budget ordinance.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
make a motion to accept the adoption of the fiscal year 2027 budget ordinance as he was just presented.
All right. I have a motion from Commissioner Holt that we adopt the budget ordinances as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Claggett. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to make a comment. We eliminated 29 positions to get to this part, and we have nothing left to cut. And it concerns me moving forward, if the state legislature assigns us to only increase our tax rate based on the cost of living, how do we ever get back that 29 positions? It only has to come through economic development. It's the only thing I see over tax increase. Nobody wants that.
Any other comments? All right, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of adopting the fiscal year 2027 budget ordinance, please let it be known by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Horton. All right, reports, updates, and comments. Start with you, Madam Manager.
First thing I would like to bring to your attention tonight, I had asked Ms. Beckham, our payroll director, to pull the comp time for our departments because I knew that was going to be an issue to be able to pay any of this out in 27. And we were looking at this report along with Ms. Miller, and we gathered all the departments that have comp time. And of course, the sheriff's department, mostly with their sworn officers, carry a lot of that comp time with them. And this was a better time for us to get this paid out because we had 3 departments, regular county departments that combined together are $25,991.48 to completely pay those departments out. and of comp time, and they currently have this in their budgets, in their salaries. And then the sheriff's department, like I said, it's mostly the sworn officers is where the comp time comes in. If we completely pay them out, their comp time combined, no one individual is getting more than over the 25,000 threshold, but combined is $93,106.01. And if you combine all the departments, that's a total of $119,097.49. But the sheriff's department does have this in their FY26 savings from their department. And that will have all the county departments pay down on comp time. And we hope to pay that out on June 19th. But I just wanted to make the board aware that we were wanting to make sure we got this comp time looked at, because I'm not sure when we've really paid this down, completely down. So we would like to proceed with that on June 19th. We're starting interviews this Friday for the senior center director. We hope to have a director in place, hopefully at the start of the new fiscal year, where they'll be starting out fresh with the new fiscal year and with the new budget. So we hope to have that position in place soon. Just want to remind everyone that Jason Watlington, the planning director, will be taking over building inspections and the admin position under his program effective July 1st. And also environmental health will remain under the health department. These were departments that were all under central permitting. So they have been relocated after we eliminated that position. The target date for the VSO, the Veteran Services Officer, we hope for that to start around sometime soon at the 1st of July. They will be sending us an interagency agreement, but they will not go back before their Board of Commissioners until their July 20th meeting. But they said they thought we could get the services started before then. That's all I have.
Mr. Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I continue to review public records requests as they come in, and we're also advising department heads on county policies and ordinances. And we also continue to review contracts as they come in, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, and including Budget Amendment 24 tonight, the ambulance remount. We hope to have a contract ready for you at the next board meeting regarding this. And I'll have further updates for you in the closed session.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, I'll start with you, Commissioner Smith.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Just want to point out that we approved operating monies to the school board in the amount of $3,078,092. Of that amount, they submitted a request for teacher supplements of $221,859. So this board did approve the supplement, and we're hoping that the school board will pay them out accordingly. And the other thing is, I'd like to see us, once you catch your breath, is to move the talks along with the Civic Center, the county taking over the Civic Center from the school board.
All right, Commissioner Totten. Commissioner Holt. Mr. Claggett.
Pass.
Commissioner England. Mr. Rose.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Manager, I may have missed it. What was the reason for paying the comp time out?
Well, it's already accumulated. A lot of them have passed the threshold that our policy holds. I think sworn officers, and I know our human resources, and correct me if I'm wrong, they can get up to 800 hours. If you think about paying that out like in FY27 with the budget that we have, there's no way we would have the funding there to do it. And the best principle to put in place is, once this is paid down, is to see what measures could be put in place to prevent building back up so quickly. But I know that is more of a challenge with the sworn officers, which are like your detectives and things. I know that's more of a challenge for them. But that was one of the main goals, is because we are over those thresholds. for some of your departments. Your regular departments, I think it's 200 hour by our policy. And this was, and we felt like since we had savings in FY '26, and this would be kind of like a one-time opportunity to be able to get that paid out and to look at putting some measures in place to help try to watch for those hours. But when you do have vacancies, I mean, somebody's got to fill the spots.
Right. I just know in the past or in prior years, comp time was paid out in the event you either retired or,
Well, per our policy, it's really when it hits those thresholds is when it should be paid out. Because you think if you had several of those sworn officers go out at one time, I mean, that could be over $60,000 or more at one time if you just had maybe 3 of those go out, and that would hit the county pretty hard at one time. So we just thought it would be a good practice right now to go ahead and pay those out. But technically, you try to get them down more to the, when they get over 800 hours by our policy, they're really over and should be looked at it being paid out. And regular employees, I think it's 200.
right. Well, hopefully we can put some parameters in place that doesn't happen. One other thing, Mr. Chairman, I would like to, and I guess it's appropriate to do it this time, I would like to address Ms. Banks's question to the board tonight. Thank you for asking that. As you can see, we passed our budget tonight. We did ask every department they had to do some cutting. And the best I can recollect, senior center didn't have any cuts in positions, correct?
No, they had no cuts in
So
positions.
they didn't have any cuts in that. And, you know, each department was asked to cut their budget as much as they could, but they didn't have any cuts to the program, no positions. And we did not have to cut any hours of service. So thank y'all for coming out tonight.
And due to the
Chairman.
fact that they did not have a director in place, the administrative staff went through and did their budget.
Okay. Thank you.
One thing. Probably it's been at least 2 years ago, Board of Commissioners approved Sunday beer sales countywide to start at 10 a.m. You remember this, Mr. Johnston?
Yes, sir,
Do
Mr.
you
Chairman.
know if ABC Board has ever implemented that policy? Last time I talked to my local convenience store, he had not received anything from the local ABC Board saying that he could sell beer at 10 on Sunday. It was still 12.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I haven't been made aware of that, but we will research this tomorrow.
I know previous board approved it, so
Yes, sir.
I think
I
it's
recall.
time it was implemented. It's been over 2 years, I know. All right.
Yes, sir.
Upcoming events, Board of Adjustment meeting, June the 16th at 2:00. Planning Board meeting will meet on the 23rd at 1. Another comprehensive land use community meeting at the Leesburg Fire Department on the 23rd at 6:30. This will be at the substation, not at the main station for Leesburg Fire Department. Friday, June the 26th, Independence Day Festival here in Yanceyville. County offices will be closed on July the 3rd, observance of July the 4th holiday. And our next regular scheduled meeting will be July the 6th at 5:00 right here. Closed session to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 subsection A3 and consider the qualifications or conditions of appointment, an individual public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee as provided under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 subsection A6. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So move.
Motion from Commissioner Rose,
Second.
second from Commissioner Claggett. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. We now sit in closed session. I can't talk. That's